Evening all, welcome to some more tactics. Right, we're continuing our Million Merc event thingamajig, and this was, I think, match number 2 in its in the grand scheme of things, and it turned out to be a corker, and it's no vehicles. Well, a little bit of vehicles. Evo's flying his dropship, but otherwise it's infantry stuff, and that kind of leads me on to an interesting kind of topic for discussion, which is the aggression, levels of aggression that you show. It's amazing how few people really do necessarily, I think, play aggressively. It's a weird one. It's like a lot of people, and I spoke about this in the last video, but a lot of people play this with a bit of a passive mindset. They want to win, but they don't want to kind of do too much effort for it. And you can usually tell the kind of the difference between success and failure, I think, is how much of an aggressive git you are. And I think certainly what I used to play, particularly as I lose prototype after prototype, is I used to always generally play games casually. So it'd be like, right, log on, play a bit of Eve. And in Eve, I was incredibly passive. I enjoyed a fight because I was rich enough not for it to matter. Look at that, as we shred that dropship. Lovely, lovely. We always had this kind of thing where, you know, to be honest, I don't know, you didn't really need to be too aggressive. And then we started to get annihilated. Our alliances started to be crumbled, and we realized actually you do need to be aggressive. You need to enjoy the fight. And I think really that's what today's topic is about, is being aggressive. When you fight somebody, you should go at them as best and as much as you can. And I think a lot of the time people generally don't do this because there is an ISK element involved. If you play Battlefield 4, everybody kind of is aggressive because it's, you know, there's no loss. If you lose, it doesn't matter. But in Dust, having that overarching thing of the economy being prevalent means that you actually, if you start to lose a lot of suits, you get angry because it's costing you. It's costing you reputation, perhaps. Well, probably not, but it's costing you, more importantly, money. And money is a key driver in this game. So I'm told. And I think that's kind of something that really a lot of people aren't necessarily aggressive about. Now, what I mean by being aggressive, really, is when you fight, go at somebody with your best focused intent. Don't get angry at people, because you see this a lot. I mean, we have this when we do tanks. We kill somebody's tank and they rage and they come back with another tank, and then that gets killed, and then they bring another one and another one and another one, and then all of a sudden, and I had this last night, and I'm probably going to show this maybe even in the next video because the match was hilarious. He kept bringing tanks, and I bomb trucked him. Okay, now again, questionable tactic. I'm with you there. It is very questionable, but it's funny as balls. And when I hurtled this little LAV strapped with TNT into the side of his tank, and I saw his hopes and dreams explode in a kind of firework display of awesome, and it spelt out the words "Ha ha, noob, you just got killed" in little fire effects above him. In my mind, not really, but it just completely made me go, like, you know, I laughed my head off. And I think that's kind of it, is being aggressive and being angry are very different things. And I think certainly what you find is a lot of good players, the best players, are actually very aggressive. They see a kill, they go for it, but they're always still very tactical. It's almost like cold and cool, calculated stuff. And I think these, you know, certainly from my opinion, the best players are those kind of cool, cold, calculated killers who just go at you. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something really to do. So there we go. Now, an interesting one, we're doing our kind of gunning tactic again with Evo's dropship. It's not particularly strong dropship, so these things die like so easily. But having gunners means you can do things like this, so we can go into the overview and we can actually direct him. There was a hell of a battle going on because Evo and I killed this guy's dropship, and I think he raged a bit. And in the end, he ends up ramming Evo to win, and that sucks, dude. You don't beat someone by ramming them. Come on, bro, Seth. But it was a funny one, really, because you could see that this guy was getting angry. So it wasn't aggressive anymore; it was just angry. But he's a good example of somebody who, you know, again, I speak about kind of the 25% who want the good fight, the 75% who want to win, and in this game, because of the economy, prevails. Or rather kind of, you know, creates people of the 75% ilk, because they want to win and they want to deny your assets, but they don't want to then actually put their own on the line. Like, they don't really do that. And I think this is an interesting one because, you know, a lot of the players we saw last night, as soon as they took a single shot, so Redline Railgun Tank Judge would shoot them with a rocket, and then they would run, and they would run so fast that you would just see the little streak, trail of yellow running all the way behind them. And it was like, we couldn't work it out, because it's like, what are you hitting them with? Are you hitting them with some form of high velocity beanbag round that fires them back, dude? And it's like, no, actually, it's just because they were so terrified of losing. Not the tank necessarily, well, I guess the tank, but just losing. They don't want to lose. And I think that's, and there's just like, they're so unaggressive with it. It's like they'll sit and they'll take pot shots, and then they get a lucky shot. So here you see Evo get actually rammed. He gets rammed by that other dropship just to beat him. And it's like, well, why would they do that? It doesn't make much sense to me. And I think this is kind of the sad part of this game at times, is that you do have this, rather large community of people within it who actually don't want to fight. They want to dominate and win, but they're actually too scared to have a proper stand-up fight. Okay. I don't understand this behavior, because to me, a game is just a game. And I think, yes, even though we take it seriously to a degree, if we're beaten, we're beaten. And if we have a good fight in doing it, we're all smiles and happy. We really are. But I think if we have a poor game, I mean, we had one game yesterday, which I certainly won't show, which was just 3 Redline Railgun tankers sat on the hill. I think it was Manus Peak, and they just sat there and they denied the whole game any fun whatsoever. So they were shooting any vehicle that came out. They were obviously coordinating, but they were shooting any vehicle that came out against them. They certainly were pretty much unbomb truckable, because the way they were sat was so far back. It was just like, to get a bomb truck to them would probably have taken the full time to get there. And thirdly, they were just kind of running a cover tactic that just showed they weren't really looking for a fight. They were just looking to, I guess, dominate. I don't know. It's weird, because they started shooting infantry, but the most kills they got was maybe 5 kills. Maybe they got between them 10, and it was like, the whole match was shit, and people just kept leaving and going on both sides, because there was not really much match to be had. So when you get environments like that, I think that is where, quite frankly, there needs to be some action done, and it needs to be like. And Judge came up with a good idea here, so I'm just going to steal it. So thanks, Judge. It was a blacklist. Maybe you should have the ability to actually blacklist certain players that you don't want to fight against, because they're dicks or they're douches. Now, difficult to do, I know, but GTA did this very well, right? GTA Online, right, which is just going to be an absolute car crash of dicks. Actually ended up being incredibly good, because if you were a dick in GTA Online, it would give you a warning to say you're playing like a bit of a dick. If you carry on doing this, you're going to be put in the dunces league, which means you'll only be able to fight other dunces. And that means people who redline railgun, people who just sit there and, I don't know, whatever tactic, people who do da-da-da-da-da, if you keep doing this, you're going to end up in a really shitty league. And then they just end up fighting each other. And I got put in that league, naturally, because I'm a dunce. And it was actually quite fun, because it was my kind of play style. It was bomb trucking-esque stuff. It was, just destroying anything that came my way. In kind of a really kind of beardy way. And I think, to be honest, I would say that actually it's probably worth CCP looking into, because there are people in this game who want to play a regular stand-up fight, who don't redline railgun, who don't fight from the red line. The red line is not there to fight from, it is there to muster and then move from. And I think if there's a group of people who want to play regular standard normal matches, if you can call it such, then maybe there needs to be a league for that. Maybe there needs to be options. So, you can actually set up different matches. Look at that ragdoll. My God. But maybe there needs to be, different matches where you can say the red line isn't here. So, yeah, it's risky. It's very risky, in fact. But I think maybe that's it. Maybe for veterans, because we're supposedly all veterans in this bit with matchmaking, there shouldn't be any red line whatsoever, even in domination and skirmish. It should just all be gone. And I think you then have to fight, you have to then protect stuff coming in. It's not about the game giving you the ability to get stuff in. It should be about, right, guys, I'm calling a tank in. I need support. Come help me. And then your squad has to come help you. Okay. I think these are valid things. I think this is maybe what the game's needing, but we'll see. As it stands, I think the game is just incredible fun. We had such fun last night, and it really was a riot. We had loads more people on than usual. You could see that in EVE Offline, where there was a load more people on. And it did feel like there was some real kind of mixture of players as well. We didn't see the regular faces all night, which is great, because it felt great to have a different kind of game. And I think also it was just one of those times when I think, the squad was alive. There was a few drinks going, there was a bit of banter going, and you'll see in the next video how we kept people entertained, because we actually paid people a million ISK for certain tasks done in the match. Highly recommend you do that. If you're rich and you run a squad, I recommend you do that. So we'll show you in the next video what we did on that front, because it was actually quite fun. But there we go, victory. We actually, and again, I know I keep showing victories. It's not all the time, bros. We generally do win when we fight. I think people seem to really sort of hate the fact that I do that. But anyway, as it stands, I think, there we go. Look, some good kills, some good fun. I think we, these are the matches that we want more of. And I think certainly if there was a way to kind of make the game a bit less douchey, so we can get away from certain kind of tactics, then that would be nice. But I invite everyone, come fighters, come shoot me in the face, and I think you'll have some fun. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.